Greetings, everybody. I am so glad that you are here with me tonight because I have the best show for you. I am wanting to take a minute here. I need to let all of my friends, parrot heads and not, people from Punta Gorda, which looks like it's about to take a really serious hit all the way up. Steve DeShabi is in the area. I have so many friends over so many years and so many different phases of my life who are in the way of this hurricane. The tornadoes have already been scary. Um, I know that y'all enjoyed John recently on the show. He is in danger from this, and I just pray. I don't know anything else that can turn a tide. There's not anything else that can turn a tide, but this can do it. And this is a storm that is coming off of a Gulf of Mexico that's already been cooled by the first hurricane going through. So I can only imagine what it would have been like if it had the extremely hot water that the first one had. So just pray for them. And when the time comes, let's all support them because they're going to need help. Just like the people in North Carolina still need our help. If you can donate to Samaritan's Purse, then they're doing so much work. And there's so many individuals doing stuff too. And I am a Gulf Coast girl. I have a place there. I loved there. I grew up going on vacation there. And these are my people that have moved into several of those areas. I'm a trap rock girl too, and a parrot head. And my parrot head friends are in danger. Mary Nell, if you see this when you come out the other side, I love you. And I'm holding you in my heart. So, enough, okay? I am so excited because I don't often get to talk to just anybody here. I do talk to just anybody here. I talk to everybody here. But this is special because this is a person I admire so much. She has integrity. She has a fierceness that you would not believe because she doesn't look fierce. She is one of the bravest people I know. She's one of the most honest people I know. And she is a business owner and a troubadour and a fairly newly minted American citizen. And with that, welcome, Mai Hernon. I'm so glad you're here.
Wow, wow, Kat, you have just blown me up out of all proportion here. I don't know what to say about it. Thank you so much for that fantastic introduction. And
Well,
again, I would like to back you in praying and wishing everybody safety for this terrible thing that's about to hit Florida. I've been praying and I've been donating to North Carolina, and it
mhm.
has really been tragic. And you know, I know that prayer is an amazing thing, and as you said, it can turn tides. It can,
It
it
can.
can, it can. So we're again, I'll reiterate what you said. If people, if and it's not that easy to donate now because people just don't have it anymore. But Samaritan's Purse is a great place to donate if you can. They will need everybody's help now.
And they are boots on the ground. And they have been boots on the ground from the first moments
Yeah,
that it was safe to be there.
yeah,
And, I have to shout out too to all of those veterans and veterans groups,
yeah.
the private pilots
Yes,
bringing their flights, the people that are just whipping their cards out and filling those planes up for those pilots,
yeah.
the helicopter pilots that went in and you know they got an 11-day old baby out
I know.
who was going to die.
Yeah, and a woman
And
and a woman that same rescue. I think there was a woman that had only 1 day's oxygen. They got her out
yes,
as well. Yeah,
yes. So you hear about these miracles that happen, and you know I don't know why we have to have tragedy to believe in miracles,
yeah.
but maybe that's human nature.
I suppose it is.
And
Yeah,
but if you're not moved by this, then come over here and I'll bop you on the noggin so that you understand.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
really. I'm
Yeah, but
teasing.
I know exactly what you're saying. I mean, anyone that wouldn't be moved by this tragedy, um, there's something lacking there somewhere along the line. So,
I need to give an update on this too, if you don't mind, May,
yeah, you
before we
can.
get started.
Yeah,
Is that Phyllis Scotty, who is the owner of Fate Magazine, and I am the voice of Fate Magazine with my Fate Magazine radio show. She lives in Hendersonville. She lives in that area, and our tech person um, in Swinona lost his generational family home,
oh,
and he is supposed to be heading back that way this week. Through the end of, through the week, he's going to be making his way. Um, this touched really close to home, and Phyllis, and I don't mind sharing this, but Phyllis said that Fate is great. She shared one of her goats. I love her goats. She chases goats, but she's not a woman who just speaks to goats. She chases them too.
yeah,
But they are safe, and things are looking up.
yeah,
All the animals pulled through with her. And when I reached out to her, because I was trying to get her before she ran out of power, um, I was just like, "Are you okay? Just checking.
yeah,
Don't have to talk." you
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah,
And she said, "Yes, no power, getting water out of the pond to flush. So all good."
yeah,
And that's the kind of woman she is. She is
yeah,
just a resilient nature. She's one of the more positive people on the planet, and she trusts the universe.
yeah. And you know,
So,
it's only when tragedy like this hits people realize how strong and how resilient they actually are,
mhm.
and how strong and resilient a community is, and how amazing a community is. Because
Yes,
during times like this, all of the community come together, and nothing else matters.
that's true.
And that's the beauty. That's kind of, if I can even say that, and I'm not trying to diminish anything, but that's kind of the silver lining out of any tragedy, to see people coming together and to see people working together and helping each other, and they don't care about anything else so long as everybody's okay.
That doesn't belittle anything. It's a great testimony to humanity.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we forget sometimes, because we're pitted against each other all the time. Oh, this person's that, and this person's that, and never the twain shall meet.
Yeah,
And you know, we are all humans before we are anything else.
yeah,
And humanity needs all of us working together instead of apart. And when somebody is trying to pull you apart, you need to question that person's motives.
yeah, yeah. You walk away from that person. That's it.
You do,
Yeah,
but which we have both done since we've known each other.
yeah, yeah. We've learned.
Oh my goodness, that's so funny. That because I was talking about a mutual experience that we shared,
Yeah,
and for those that don't know, May is a great tour operator. She is. I'm going with her,
yeah.
and trust me when I say it takes a lot to get me to sign up for a tour anymore.
Hmm.
But she is. She really is a troubadour. I was not kidding. She is a brilliant Irish folk singer,
Yeah,
and she is really great. But she has these paranormal tours coming up, and Chris Fleming was going to be coming. He's having some health issues, and if you don't know about it, you can find out. And you said that Dave was going to be filling those shoes. Those are big shoes to fill.
yes, yeah. Chris contacted me a few months ago, and he had been in Scotland with a group of people, and seemingly they must have been talking about going to Ireland. So he was all excited about this, and he was working with somebody, and that person let him down badly. So he contacted me, and at the time, Kat, I didn't know whether I was going to be able to do it or not.
I know.
So but I thought, okay, sure, I'm well able to put the whole thing together. And if I'm not able to do the tour guide work, because I love to do the tour guide, I
I
just
know.
love bringing people over. I love watching them stand and watching their breaths just being taken away from looking at scenery or whatever. I just enjoy that. But I thought, well, if I can't do that, I'll get one of my tour guides to take my place. But very quickly, within 48 hours, he had the tour sold.
There you go.
And we were so excited and everything was fantastic. And then he was telling me he wasn't feeling too well. And it was getting kind of worse. And he was going in and out of to get checked by the doctors. And then he'd start asking me, did you have a cough, or did you have this, or did you have that? And I was saying, yeah. And I was thinking, oh God. Anyhow, he was diagnosed. And about 4 or 5 weeks ago, he was put on an intensive chemotherapy regime for about 3 weeks. Now, I was he's out of the hospital now. He's been out for a week. He's going to go back for more. He might be going back for more treatment. But I was talking to him yesterday and he was in great form. And he can't come on the tour. So Dave Schrader, fair play to Dave. Dave stepped in and Dave said, look, I'll take over the tour for you and I'll do it for you, which was amazing.
It is amazing. He's an amazing person, though.
Yeah, short notice. He just, he says, we'll do this. We'll get this done. So, Chris, we had a meet and greet with all the people on Zoom. I thought it'd be nice to do a meet and greet because some of them are coming in early, a couple of days early. And I thought, well, we could all do the Zoom meet and greet.
Mm-hmm.
And we did that. And I said to Chris, would you, if you're feeling up to it, would you pop on? And he did. And they loved it. And they were just so happy to see him.
I know. They had to be.
I mean, he yesterday he sounded so much better than he did on the Zoom. And I even said to him, I says, Chris, you sound a lot stronger today than you did the other day when we were talking to you on the Zoom. And he says, yeah, I feel really good now. And I thought, yes.
That is a yes.
Miracles can happen. I mean,
They
for anyone who's out there, I just want, and anyone who's been given a diagnosis, I hope you don't mind me doing this, Kat.
Of course I don't.
Anyone who's given a diagnosis of cancer, I was given a terminal diagnosis 2.5 years ago. I had it in the breast, the lungs, no, one lung, the lymph nodes of that lung, 5 spots on the spine and 2 on each hip. And I am now cancer-free.
Yeah.
And I was told they put me on palliative care and everything. I'm now cancer-free. It is possible. You don't let it get you. You say, okay, this is not going to get me. And you fight it with all of your might. You can't.
Yes.
It's not necessarily, oh, I'm going to die. This is it. I'm finished. It's not. They can do so much now. And it's a lot of it is, it's in between your 2 ears. How,
It is almost entirely in your 2 ears.
Yeah.
Between your 2 ears. And in your spirit.
Yes.
Because if you give up, then you don't have any hope of seeing the other side.
No.
And if people, my dad used to tell me a lot, you can't be this much of a Pollyanna. And I'm like, I'm not a Pollyanna.
Yeah.
It's just that so far I am 100% win on bad days.
Yeah.
And, I hope that continues for a little longer, right?
Yeah.
But if you give up, then you don't stand a chance.
No, you don't. And I mean, even the nurses in the cancer care unit, when I go in there, they have said that studies have been done to prove that people who have a positive attitude survive.
Yes.
If you believe you're going to die, then the likelihood is you will.
Well, things are, you always have control. I don't want to say you always have control of your destiny, because if that were the case, no one would ever not make it.
Yeah.
But you do have control of how you approach things. And that is not to belittle people.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
cancers are tough. And it doesn't matter what cancer you have. It can be melanoma. It can be ovarian. It can be whatever.
Yeah. And everybody's cancer journey is different, and everything is personal.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, different people can tolerate different treatments and stuff.
Yeah.
But, it's really, I'm so glad that you got your healing.
And I will say it. I had people praying for me all around the world, and they
Yes,
were
you did.
genuinely praying for me. And my oncologist even said to me, he said, you know, he says, God has intervened here. He says, because we can't cure cancer out of the bones. He
Yeah.
says, so this was a miracle. And I said, yeah, I says, I've had so, I mean, I was getting cards from churches actually in South and North Carolina. People who would know me through the music were contacting their church and getting their church to pray for me. I mean, it's amazing, Kat. It really is. It really was. It's an amazing thing to know that so many people out there would pray for you and pray for your healing, and know that, yeah, this was genuine. And I often say it. I would never want to go through what I went through again. I don't want to ever go through it again. But I'm kind of, in a way, that I'm happy that I went through it, because I've met some of the most amazing people in the cancer care unit,
Yes.
and I
Those
genuinely,
are special people.
they are special people, and I
So,
genuinely know now how much people think of me. I didn't know it before. I didn't know
well,
it before.
I tend to step back when I know. Excuse me a minute. He's chewing. This is my. Oh dear. Hold that thought.
Yeah,
That was a bad decision.
she's given is it the cat or the dog?
Whoa. Okay. I tried to distract him. I gave him a new, louder toy.
Yeah,
I didn't mean to.
yeah.
So anyway, that's Wally the collie, guys.
Oh, yeah.
It's never boring at my house.
I know, not of mine either.
So that's the first time I've ever had to leave the camera because of my dog. But anyway, I think he's eating the bed now. We'll see. Because I'm in the guest room office, so it's just like, ah,
Yeah,
we
he's
won't even
okay.
look that way anymore.
Yeah, he's okay.
Yeah, I don't really care except for eating the stuff.
Yeah,
But I didn't want him to get something that was going to be bad for him because I am a doggy mom.
yes,
But, you know, I saw, because I followed you through all of that.
yeah,
And I don't say very much because I don't want somebody to think that, I'm hopping on a bandwagon or something. But I would let you know periodically that,
yeah.
yeah, I see you. So
Hmm.
I'm just thankful for you. And
And
I'm so thankful that I'm going to get to come and spend time with you.
yeah.
And my husband is like, well, we'll see. We'll see. And I'm like, that's what you said about Scotland both
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
So, it's not like I'm going into the depths of hell or anything. It's
No,
like
you're not.
nice places.
Yeah.
So
It's going to be a great time, and Rick McCallum will be with us, and
you will.
there's going to be no rushing or racing or herding people from one place to another, and everybody will, everything will run. I mean, I have the tour now. There's people coming in early.
Hmm.
I have everything is paid, booked. We walk in, our keys are waiting for us in the hotels. Everything is done. There's everything runs smoothly. I've got a great bus company. I know my bus drivers very well, and that's the great thing. Kat. I've been blessed with great bus drivers, and I believe they're integral. They're an integral part of a tour, because
Oh, absolutely, they are. Because, that first time I went to Scotland, we were done at 5.
yeah,
We couldn't go anywhere, you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
after that time. And it was ridiculous.
Hmm.
We didn't have rooms. The castle we were supposed to stay in when we first got there was not open because there had been a fire pre-COVID. And so there was no follow-up when before we left. You should always have all your ducks in a row. I'm not even a tour operator, and
I
I know
know,
how to organize things.
I know.
And so, it still wound up being wonderful, but not because of the tour, but because of the people.
Yeah. But that's the
And
great thing about the tours, and if they're a small enough group, it's amazing. I absolutely, this is one of the things I love, because you watch a group coming in Dublin Airport Terminal 2, and they're shy and they're quiet and they don't say much, and you introduce yourself and everybody's shy and quiet. But by day 3, they're all talking to each other.
well, the one that I'm coming on,
Yeah.
we were all together in Scotland.
Oh, brilliant.
So there's not
So,
going to be,
so
there
that's
may
kind
be
of,
some new people, but there's not going to be anybody that's quiet
yeah.
and shy.
But it's brilliant though, because I'd watch, and I've watched this over the years, and then by day 3, people are beginning to make friends with each other,
Yeah.
and then they're beginning to have laughs, and they're beginning to have great fun, and then at the end of the tour, you see them swapping phone numbers, and
Yeah.
you see them hugging each other, and
Yes.
sometimes you see them crying,
Yeah.
and then you come back to America, and you're on Facebook, and you're watching them communicate on Facebook, and then you're
Yeah.
seeing, oh, I'm going to visit you. I mean, the
Ah,
friendships continue,
yes.
and it's really, it gives me a great kick to to know that I had a small little part in that. You know,
Well, it's not just a small part. I mean, because that first time I went over there, we were pitted against one another. And I just found that to be
that's
very
not good.
bizarre. I mean,
Yeah,
because everybody's going to be writing a review,
yeah,
right? I mean, you don't want to be doing that.
no, yeah,
And, so really and truly, the camaraderie wasn't that bad because everybody knew what was happening.
yeah, yeah,
But it was so disappointing that somebody would even attempt that.
yeah,
So that's why I'm so looking forward to my experience with you because I know that you were the person that when you couldn't tolerate that relationship anymore
oh, it was gone. That's it.
were the reason that you know you were not the reason that we had problems. You would have been the person to fix the problems with
Yeah,
somebody
yeah.
else creating. And also, I have family from Ireland. I mean, I have English, I have Scott, and I have Irish.
There you go.
And I thought that, my maiden name was German. Turns out it's English.
What's the maiden name?
It's Doss, Doss, and it's
Oh yeah.
from Dawes originally.
Okay.
And it
Yeah.
got shortened. So I always thought we were German.
Yeah. I
And
would
turns
say
out
yeah, that sounds English. Okay.
it
Yeah.
is, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I had a relative who was a Baron. So, I've been learning all this stuff. And I'm just so excited to see what Ireland is because Scotland was magical to me.
Yeah.
And we went back
And
this
you
year
see,
to
the
do it
thing about
right.
it is, Kat, you were with Rick and you were with other people, and Rick has an absolute passion for Scotland.
He does indeed.
And that's the difference. I mean, I'll just tell you that, and I've been doing this since what, 2015, 2017, whatever.
Mhm.
And, I would see big tour companies who would employ young tour guides.
Mhm.
Now, the tour guides don't necessarily have to come from Ireland.
Yes.
With these big tour companies, they will just employ anyone from any country.
Yes.
And then it's just a job to these young people. And God love them. There was one particular guy I remember I'd meet him nearly every time and nearly at every venue. Well, not at every venue, but I'd meet him on a regular basis. And I think he was Italian. And the poor young fella, number one, he was in a strange country. Number two, he looked absolutely stressed out of his mind
Oh.
all the time. And he wasn't in a country that he had any passion for. And it
Oh.
makes an awful difference. Like if you're going to have if you're going to have tours in countries, you should have at least a tour guide who has a passion for the country that's
Hmm.
bringing people around. You know, and I
I
mean,
agree with you.
yeah, and just landing into a country and reading it reading it on TripAdvisor. That's not, you can get all this crap on
That's
TripAdvisor,
not a tour guide.
but it's exactly.
So
TripAdvisor is good for some things, and Google might be good for some things, but it's not the
you got to
be
put your
all.
hands on it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not the be all and the end all of a tour. And you
Well,
have
we
to
have,
have that passion, really, you do.
you do. And we have a woman who is just as passionate for Scotland as I am. And she's coming with me and you to Ireland. And that's Lori Dorsey in chat. Hey, Lori.
Oh yeah, I saw her earlier on. She
So
she tuned in a few minutes ago, didn't
she
she?
did.
Yeah.
And she is my travel companion.
Oh, brilliant.
And so I'm very excited that she's as excited as I am, if not more,
Yeah.
to be going over. But, I had been wondering, I was doing my ancestry. One of my cousin's daughters is very into that. So mainly I just go and look at hers. But it's so much fun because when we were in Inverness in Scotland, I did not have any idea that my grandmother's maiden name would be there.
Oh wow.
And it was in that big cemetery in Inverness.
Really?
Yes, and it was Kemp, Kemp.
Yeah.
And I thought, but she's primarily native. So I don't know where the Kemps came from, but it's just kind of been fun to go back and find that.
Yeah.
And, it's like one of my grandmothers was, back way back was Buchanan.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
Yeah.
And I love when that's what I'm looking forward to about coming with you is being able to go and see places that I've heard about from Rick for all these years,
Yeah.
places that, my grandfather would tell me about,
Yeah.
and places that I'm pretty sure I have family in.
You probably have.
So, and I think people love that.
They
You,
do, and especially with America, and a lot of Americans would have roots over in Europe, and especially with the Irish. I don't know about, I'd say the Scottish as well, but especially with the Irish, Cat, they have this what would it's a kind of a yearning. They really want to know where their roots
yes,
are, and they really want to. They have that deep connection to Ireland. Even some people who have never been to Ireland before, but they know that they're from. There's Lorraine again. They know that they're
yes,
McGuinness. Yeah, that's a good Irish name. But they
yes,
know
it
that they're
is.
their blood. And we have an old Irish saying. We have an old Irish saying at home. Irish blood always goes home. So
Yes, it does.
it might miss a couple of generations, but it always goes home. And I remember when I came here first, I was so amazed at how passionate people, Irish people, they were so passionate about their Irish heritage.
Hmm.
You know, because at home we're all Irish, we don't think about it.
I know, right?
Yeah,
Well, and it's like it's not just the green beer either.
yeah,
So,
we don't do green beer at all.
I know. So it's that's why I get so tickled, and the Chicago River
Yeah, no.
turns green, and I mean it's just like, oh, that seems a waste.
I
But
know, and I remember the first time I was at a St. Patrick's Day parade. Oh, it blew my mind. I was, because we would have St. Patrick's Day parades,
mhm,
but we wouldn't have green beer, and we wouldn't have green rivers, and we wouldn't be dressed up as green. We'd put shamrock on us,
right,
but it's mainly St. Patrick's Day would be more or less. It's more of a religious holiday,
mhm,
but we do have our parades, and we do have our fun, and we have traditional music and everything like that. But I mean, over here, they really go all out to celebrate the whole Irish thing, you
yes,
know. And
and
people
you
from
don't,
all walks of life, people from all traditions and religions, you can see them with their green tops and their
yes,
Irish flags and their glasses and their red beards, and you're thinking, "Oh my God, that looks so funny."
it does, and It's kind of like when we were in Scotland, my friend Mikey loves coos. Okay. So he got the Scottish red-headed cat, plaid cat with the red hair on it,
Yeah.
and turned it around so that he was a Scottish coo. So he walked around as a coo. It was so much fun.
Yeah, I know.
And, you know, but it's really interesting because I did not go to Scotland really looking for my history. I went looking for the mystery.
Yeah.
And as my friends with Scottish Paranormal say, the history is the mystery.
It is actually, yeah.
So,
When I can bring people to a court tomb or to a Neolithic tomb,
mhm,
and I can say to them, "This is 5,000, or this is 800 years older than the pyramids." And
wow.
when you sit and you think about you're walking on the land that people walked on 800 years before the pyramids, and you really sit and you think about that, Kat, it's kind of mind blowing. When you,
It's
I
very
mean,
mind blowing.
it is, yeah. I mean, I can bring them into a 12th century abbey, the ruins of a 12th century abbey. And I'm lucky enough that I know all the places that I go, and I've got local friends and local historians. And we don't just have the history, we have the myths and the legends as well. And
Yes.
when you can hear somebody telling you the actual history of the place, and you're looking at it and you can imagine what it was like to live in that time. I mean, for instance, Lep Castle. I mean, a lot of the castles would have tragic histories. And of course, a lot, you can't throw a stone in Ireland, but you'll hit a ghost. That's a fact.
Yes. Yes, that's
It's
true.
true because we've had the Vikings, and we've had the Normans, and we've had the English, and we've had everybody come in and kind of try to get us. And I mean, there's fields at home with famine graves. You can walk some roads and you can feel it. You
You
know,
can feel it
yeah,
when land holds feelings.
yeah,
And I didn't really understand that until my first time in Gettysburg.
mm,
That really shook me up
yeah, yeah.
because
That would,
there's so much energy there.
yeah,
And I wasn't even on the battlefield yet. And I was having a paranormal experience that I didn't think was paranormal. I thought it was really people.
yeah,
And turned out there's no way that was really people.
yeah,
So that was an educational thing I
yeah,
learned. And,
absolutely,
you know, it was, and I had things like that all the way through that area. And it wasn't just that day as I was driving in, it was, you know, when I went down to Sachs Bridge with some people that had befriended me when I got there and local people.
yeah,
And no matter where I went, there was something that happened. And that was before I really realized, that I was that sensitive, really.
yeah,
Um, I mean, I knew I was, but I thought that was just with family spirits.
hmm,
And turned out that's not a necessity.
no,
And it was it was definitely an interesting moment in time.
yeah,
That whole weekend was bizarre for that reason.
yeah. And would
And
that have been your first kind of an experience outside of the family, Cat?
not really. I'm being brought a cup of coffee,
Oh,
guys.
that's nice. I have got some
I
water.
had the best husband on the planet. Definitely for me, but probably, yeah, he's right up there with like the top 10 in the
Yeah,
world. So,
I think mine is one of the best as well.
yes.
Yeah.
And well, if we don't think that they're the best, then they probably shouldn't be ours.
Exactly. Yeah,
So
well, we had this discussion before, and we did
we
come to the conclusion that we're both very blessed.
we are both very blessed, and
Yeah,
I'm so thankful every day for him.
yeah,
But and he supports my paranormal
yeah.
things too because we were at a battlefield one afternoon and I told the story fairly recently, so if you already heard it, I'm sorry.
No,
But it was at Stone Creek Battlefield or Stone River in Nashville, Tennessee, and I was trying to set up a triangulation of my voice recorders. And so he was holding one and he was like, "Well, do you want me just to do it here so that you do have this triangulation?" I'm like, "That would be great."
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So when they care enough to help you out with that,
yeah.
that's a pretty good guy.
It is, yeah, it
So
is. It's great, and it's great that he has that interest that he would be
he
that,
does not have any interest.
doesn't
He just loves me.
yeah, well, there you go.
So
And
he's not a
that
parent.
that is invaluable. That is
It is.
invaluable. Absolutely. It is
And
invaluable.
if he finds a new piece of equipment that he's heard about, it's there. My my friend Al back here, he brought in one afternoon and said, "You needed this."
Yeah.
So because with Fate, I do a lot of ufology things,
Yeah.
and it's
We have where I lived before I came over here. I lived in a 300-year-old stone house,
oh my goodness.
and it was very active. But I lived in the country in the middle of nowhere. I mean,
Hmm.
you went out and you looked up and you saw the sky. It was
Oh my
beautiful.
goodness.
But about 6 miles as the crow flies, there's this place called Carrowkeel, and it's up on a mountain.
Yes.
It is an underground passage tomb, and it is the underground passage tomb I was telling you about that is 800 years older than the pyramids.
Yeah.
Now, that is in the northwest of Ireland, right? If you go right across the country, you've got Newgrange. And Carrowkeel has the summer solstice, Newgrange has the winter solstice. And there's 14 different cairns on the mountain range where in the Brickleaf Mountains it's called. And at certain times of the year, it mirrors the stars in the sky. But the interesting thing about this particular place, there's ley lines and everything. It's very powerful.
Hmm.
But there's a town called Boyle. I suppose it's about 6 miles from this area. And there was an old woman in the town. I've told this story before, and forgive me, people.
Not to me.
Well, okay. So this old woman swore that UFOs would hover over the cairns, and she swore she'd seen them. And people, the locals thought she was kind of, she was kind of cuckoo.
Hmm.
But this German guy came over, and he kind of hung around with her. And I have never met him, and I never met her. But this was the story that was being said. In the end, he could actually predict when the UFOs would come, and they would hover over the area. Now, I'll say this: my son and his friend were coming home one night from his friend's house. Now we're only talking about me being 5 or 6 miles as the crow flies from this place.
Hmm.
And they were coming home, and we don't have street lights. We are in the country. We have the moon, the stars, and that was the only light that they had. And the two boys walked in. Now we're talking about early 20s. And I says, "Oh my God!" I says, "What's wrong?" I says, "You look like you've seen a ghost or something," which wouldn't be unusual, but anyway.
Yeah.
Seamus said to me, my son said to me, he says, "Well, ma'am," he says, "I don't know what we saw." I said, "What do you mean?" He says, "Well, we saw this light, and it was zooming across the sky, and he says then it hovered and it stopped,
Really?
and then it went into three lights, and it just." He says, "I don't know what it was." He says, "And there was no noise." He says, "We didn't hear any noise. There was." I said, would it have been a flashlight?" He said, "No, and it wasn't a helicopter. It wasn't a plane." He said, "It was a very bright light. It got small, it got large, and then it broke into three lights, and it just went off."
Wow.
And I heard somebody else made a comment like that they had seen something similar in that general area.
At the same time?
No, at a different time. At a different time. There we go. There's our friend.
I love my producer friend.
But yeah, but this woman She swore people would laugh at her because she was saying there's definitely there's UFOs, they're arriving, they're hovering, there's something up there that they want, or there's something up there that they need, or there's some interest in Carrowkeel. But when you go to Carrowkeel and you can go into one of the tombs and you can feel the energy. There's a different feeling to it. Yeah.
Has there been excavation in that tomb?
No, no, no. It's one of these places that you wouldn't find it too easy. The locals, there might have been a few archaeologists out looking at it, but they haven't actually. You can go into it when you can crawl in, then you stand up on in the main chamber. It is tall enough for you to stand up, and then there's 3 chambers off it, and it's not as big inside as Newgrange would be, but it is big enough to stand up in. And it has the 3 chambers off it, and it's only one of 14 that are there.
That is so interesting.
Yeah.
Well, are the chambers empty?
Oh, they are. Yeah, they are.
I
You
wonder
see,
who
what would
removed
happen
whatever
is,
was there.
well, what happened was, they would. It's a passage tomb, so the septs or the tribes or the druids believed that you'd bring your people, you'd bring the body, you'd leave it with the gifts and whatever, artifacts, and you'd leave it there for 2 years, and then you take the bones out, because then the spirit will have gone to the underworld.
Okay.
You didn't leave, but what they did with the bones, nobody seems to know. But they would remove them from the passage tomb again. The passage tomb was simply to let the spirit go from this world to the other world.
That's so interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've never heard of a passage tomb.
Oh yeah, there's passage tombs, and there's court tombs as well. There's a lot, and then there's the dolmens. We have a lot of dolmens at home as well. So
This is going to be the best trip.
yeah, you could.
I mean, I'm sorry. This is my color Kool-Aid, and I am totally. I love ufology.
Yeah.
It fascinates me. I probably go to more UFO conferences than I do paranormal conferences.
Mm-hmm.
And it used to be the other way around. But I just have found myself so pulled into the UFO side of things. I mean, I'm a good paranormal investigator and I love it. I
Yeah.
love the experiences. I love learning who is around me
Yeah.
and why, But with the ufology, you don't find those answers readily.
Yeah.
And you have to pretty much have an experience to find any answers.
Yeah.
And I'm a deck sitter. Winter, summer, doesn't matter. I have blankets.
Yeah.
So, but I just love sky watching.
Yeah.
And it's, to me, that just is mesmerizing. I cannot believe that I'm going to get to see this.
And the skies are just. I was lucky enough that I lived in the country where there was
Yes.
no light pollution. I had the whole sky, and oh my gosh, it's just unbelievable. I would stand before I'd go to work in the morning, and I'd have to leave the house at around maybe 5:30, 5:45 in the morning, and it would still be dark. And you would stand there and you'd look up at the sky and you would be in a maze. Your mouth would be, oh my gosh. And then you'd realize, oh God, I better get to work quick, Oh, and you watch all this and you think, oh my, isn't it absolute? I mean, we cannot be the only people. We cannot.
Absolutely, we cannot be. We are not. I mean, did you ever see anything in your morning sky watch?
Well, you wouldn't know whether it was satellites, or you wouldn't know whether it was, shooting stars. I've seen a lot of shooting stars, but I never saw what Seamus and what was the young fella's name? James. Oh God, I nearly forgot my son's friend's name. Seamus and James saw. I never saw that. No, I have to be honest. I never saw it. But they definitely, I mean, when they came in, I knew they had seen something because they were kind of,
Panicky.
it was kind of, well, did we not? Did that actually happen? That kind of a way, you know?
Yes. Oh, the puzzlement.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah. Did we see that? And did do you think was it this? And do you think was it that? And one of them was saying, no, no, no. Do you not remember when it hovered? And then it just split out into three, you know, and they were genuine. It wasn't something that they were making up just to kind of wind me up. Because I know when my sons are winding me up.
Oh, sure. Well, but the split to 3, that's not unusual.
Is it that?
Yeah. That's something that I've heard, well, many times.
Oh, really?
And I find that so interesting because a lot of times it's almost like a mothership.
Yeah.
And, then, or they're flying in a tight formation, which looks like a single unit when we're on the ground.
Yeah.
And
Maybe.
then they just kind of,
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
love to see
I
that.
I would love to have met the German guy that came over and studied. And they reckoned, some of the locals reckoned that this man believed that he could predict when they were going to come. Now, if that was true, that would be something.
If that were true, that would be everything.
That would be, yeah, that would be everything.
I
Yeah.
mean, because that way you could have everything set up
hmm
and in out of the way places
hmm
so that it wouldn't be intimidating.
I'd say we wouldn't intimidate these.
Oh, I don't think we would intimidate them either, but
I
I
don't
mean,
think we'd be intimidated.
for them to not be concerned about
Yeah.
being filmed.
Yeah.
Like, you could, because that, I don't know, we are probably like a bunch of ants on a hill
Yeah.
to them, I would think.
You'd often wonder what would they think if they came down now.
Well, we've heard, oh my gosh, they would probably just incinerate us. But yeah, we might be contagious. So
They'd probably turn on their heel and they go, no, no, we're not going there. We don't like, no.
no, we probably have a hazmat area sign up there. So that would be,
Where is he showing now? What is this?
I can't tell where he's showing now.
I should know it, but I don't. It looks like Loftus Hall, but it's not. No, because it's not Loftus Hall. Oh, it looks like Bunratty Castle, but it's not Bunratty either. All right, she's going to tease us.
It's a castle. It's a castle in Ireland.
I know it is a castle in Ireland, but I'm wondering which one. It looks like Bunratty, but I don't know if it is. Because they have gardens and everything. They've got this poison garden in Bunratty Castle.
A poison garden?
Yes, a poison garden. They have yeah, it looks like, but it's not. I don't know if it is. Now my head will be going all over the place. Now I'll be.
You're going to have to find it when you
Yes, I'm going to
get
have
off of here.
Yeah,
It is beautiful though, but
it is, yeah.
Is that gardens like Dumbarton's gardens?
I don't know.
Is it a formal garden as well as the?
Oh, it is they're all formal gardens, but this is they have all poisonous plants in it. Now, why they did that, I don't know, but they have other gardens around it as well. I mean, in fairness, these places like that castle, like, that would probably be 1300, that'd be 13th century, 12th, 13th century.
Mhm.
And they were amazing with their gardens.
Yes.
They had the top designers come, and they had the top designers design their plantations and their gardens and their, everything was done top notch.
Yeah.
It's kind of amazing, really, when you walk through these places. I mean, that's a ruin, but when you walk into that and you actually see it, you can see how magnificent it would have been in its heyday.
Could you imagine?
Yeah.
Well, you can imagine.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to know the name of it?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to try to read the name. It's Old Rule Node Stately Home Duck Eye Castle, Carlow in
Oh,
Ireland.
I'll tell you what, Duckett's Grove. Duckett's Grove.
Okay.
Duckett's Grove. I know. Yes,
Yeah, I
Duckett's
found
Grove.
that on there and I went, oh, this
That
is
actually,
perfect to
that
bring up.
actually is very active.
It
That place
is.
is. It's very active. Duckett's Grove is. Now, I don't think you can go into it anymore because it's not particularly safe. But you can go around it, and you can do investigations around it.
Well, I have a question about that, and this is a good time to pop it in there. Does does Ireland have the right to roam like Scotland does?
Does it have the right to what?
Roam, like you can go pretty much anywhere.
And not exactly. I mean, people, you can't just walk into people's land unless you get permission. But there was a time when the British owned it. If they were doing their hunting, they had the rights to go into anybody's land. And
Well,
yeah,
no
now,
wonder people
now,
didn't like that.
yeah, they didn't know. Uh, now, like you'd have to ask a farmer. You can't just go on a horse and gallop away and off you go, because there's insurance situations as well. But I know I was talking to Chris, a friend of mine. We were talking actually about metal detecting,
Hmm.
and he was talking about how Scotland have a right to roam. You can kind of go wherever you want. Not exactly in Ireland. No, you can't, because people have their private lands, and it was the case where the British could get on their horses and they could go hunting, and they would mess up the walls and they'd mess up the land, and the horses would dig up the land and
Yes.
would destroy everything. And a lot of people in that time would have depended on the potato crop and barley. And these guys would just come in and gallop with their horses and make a mess of it. So
Well,
yeah, there's
I could
rules.
see that.
Yeah, there's kind of rules and regulations now. You just can't get up and off you go.
Well, I don't know that Scotland's is a right to roam anywhere, but I think that if you come across a decrepit ruin that's just standing there, like Rates Castle,
Yeah.
then I think that kind of place is like it's part of the National Land Trust.
Yes, a lot of the places are now in Ireland as well, and a lot of them are looked after by the government. But if it's on a private person's land,
Hmm.
most of the time they have no problem if you ask them, if you say, can we go and visit it?
Right.
The only thing people are worried about is somebody getting hurt.
Well,
Because
that's what the right to roam thing does is it releases liability by the property owner.
yeah,
So, I mean, basically it's you can do this, but if you get hurt, it's on you.
it's on you. Yeah,
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 you will not be suing anyone because as I'm sure you've discovered living here, this is a sue happy group of people that live here. And that was one thing that, when I got hurt, people were like, oh, well, you need to file a lawsuit. And I'm like, no, I
no, it's
don't. It was my fault. I
yeah,
stepped on landscape debris and down I went. I didn't.
yeah.
Oh,
Because I
you know,
always tell people as well when before we do anything, look down as well as looking up.
yep.
Make sure you know where your footing is,
Make sure
because
you're not walking into a dungeon that's left
yeah,
open
or,
somewhere.
or, or that that the bricks are not loose, or
Mhm.
that branches are not in front of you, or look down before you look up.
Yep.
It's very, you wouldn't think about it until something happens, and then you think, oh, why the hell didn't I look down? You
Yeah, I
know?
know that feeling.
Yeah. Lucky enough, I haven't
So,
fallen yet, but if I don't keep looking down now and again, it could well happen.
well, I went through a couple of years when I was so paranoid. I mean, I was like, ooh, step, look, is there
Yeah.
anything? But, but I just find it so exciting to think of the places that we're going to see.
Hmm.
Because come to find out, I like old stuff. I didn't know that.
I know, it's amazing. You know, it's, what will I say it like, if I can find Rick's, I wonder, can we share anything here? Probably not.
Carl says yes.
Because I could, what did I just say? Oh no, I'd be afraid now. No, I better not. Because I could end up, what do I say? Hold on.
What do you want to share, Maya?
The problem is, I'd be
All you
afraid.
do is go down to the bottom where it says present,
Yeah. Okay. All right. Hold on.
and it says share, and you pull it up.
Okay. We'll
There
try
you
it.
go.
Okay.
We'll try it. We'll try it. I hope I don't
Thank
knock.
you, Carl.
Thanks, Carl. Slides, video file, share screen. Okay, we'll try it. Now,
All right.
I'll take the Facebook off. Oh, I don't think this is going to work because I have
Great and strong.
I have to go to We Travel, and if I do that, there's Rick. I might end up
That may, if it's not just a file on your computer, it might be a problem.
no, I better not, because we could. Hello, Rick.
Hi, May.
How are you
Hi,
doing?
Kat.
Hi.
Doing fantastic. Two of my favorite people right there.
Thank you. Ditto.
Exactly. Right back at you, sunshine.
She calls you sunshine. She does not
You
know
are
you
my
as well as you do.
sunshine of my life.
There's the
Oh,
voice.
yeah.
I told y'all about the voice.
If I knew any of the songs anymore, Kat, I know bits and pieces of everything, and I can't sing a full song anymore. Well, that's not.
Oh, that's
true.
fine.
You know,
At least you can sing them. People pay me not to.
Oh, don't say that.
May, are you going to sing with Sean at Love Castle?
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. He'll play his whistle, and I'll get you up dancing, Rick.
No.
I would pay extra for that.
Oh, we're going to do
I will
it.
pay extra for that.
We are going doing it. It's going to be so much fun.
Oh, I have a bad knee. You know, I can't dance.
Now,
Oh,
I've
please.
got a word for that now, Rick.
Maybe.
That's I'm going to say it in Irish. That's cockmother.
I tried to go.
You got served.
I tried to get some sympathy out of there, and I got nothing.
You got nothing. You're talking to two people that don't play there.
So
No.
look, now to see. Look at Rick. There's
There he
Rick Epping.
is.
There's Rick Epping says Rick McCallum on the tour.
Yep.
On the thing. Let me just see. Let me just see if I can do this on my phone. We'll work it one way or another.
Absolutely.
It's going to be done one
We're
way.
problem solvers.
But we are going over to Ireland September the 1st to the 9th, 2025 with Rick McCallum and Kat Hobson. And we're going to have a great time.
We are going to have a great time.
Yeah. So
I'm so pleased.
we're going. This is how this came about, Kat. I put up, do you remember this, Rick? I was on Facebook and I put up a picture of the Giant's Causeway.
Yes, I do remember that. I want to see that so bad.
Yes, and you said to me, you said that. You actually said, I really want to see that so bad. And I said, well, why don't you come over to Ireland with me? And then we ended up talking, and I said to him, well, look, why don't you become an ambassador, and we'll bring a gang of people over. And that's how that started.
Well, I, for one, am glad it did.
Yeah. So we're going to be going up day one. There's so many places in the north of Ireland to go. Like there's this place called Clifton Poorhouse. It was one of these places that you went during the famine to get food. A lot of people died in it. And it's a great history. And there's a cemetery there as well. So you've got the local historians and they do the tour of the cemetery and they do the tour of the house. And then you've got Crumlin Road Jail. Now that place is definitely, it's active. Let's see.
That place I've heard of. I've read about it in books.
Now, if I can show people, well, now how can I show people that?
Put it up in front of your camera lens.
No. That
in front of you.
is
There you go.
that is the Giant's Causeway.
Yes.
There's so many myths and legends to that, but I had Patty Negri there. Priceless. It was priceless. She's walking down in front of me. Now, I've been there a few times, and Patty is a great talker. I mean,
Yes, she is.
she's a fantastic person. She's the most beautiful soul that I've met. But anyway, I'm with my camera and I'm videoing her walking in front of me. And I says, well, Patty, what do you think? And she's looking out at the rocks and she looks at me and, what? Oh my God, she says, I'm speechless.
That's something.
Yeah, she was speechless. She said, this is just, it's amazing. And this is about 40,000 years old. That was volcanic activity. But there's so many myths and legends with the Giant's Causeway about the giants from Ireland, Finn McCool, and this giant from Scotland who was throwing stones at each other. And that's where the Giant's Causeway comes from. And
Is that the bridge?
no, it was supposed to be a bridge. They were going building a bridge and they were throwing stones at each other. Now, at one stage, it would have been connected to Scotland, but the interesting thing about Ireland and the west of Ireland, the north, right the way down, it's part of the Appalachian Trail.
Get out of town.
I'm telling you.
Is it now?
It is. Yeah.
That is so
It is.
fun.
Yeah. It is.
I had no idea that was the case.
Quit telling her to get out of town. We got to wait till we get into town.
Oh,
No.
I you.
But yeah,
And just for you. Whoops, wrong way. Just for you.
Nope,
Nope.
not today.
not today.
Yeah. Just for comments like that.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I
it is
am-
part of the Appalachian Trail. Would you believe that? Yeah.
well, I do believe it because you're who told me that
Yeah.
that was the case. But I find that so strange.
Because at one stage it was all one plane. You know, it was all joined together. And I mean, this is a UNESCO site now, the Giant's Causeway, but it dates back about 50 million years, and it's all these basalt rocks. You know when?
It's basalt?
Yeah, basalt. And you know when let's say if you're in the desert and it was wet and then it dries up, you know how clay kind of dries into these shapes? Well, that's the same thing that happened there. And it was pushed up as it was drying. It was being pushed up out of the ground, and it's amazing to see it. It really is amazing to look at it. Videos and photographs really don't do it justice.
No, I've found that to be the absolute truth on the different things that we've seen.
What do we see now? What that is, and then we're going to the Giant's Causeway, and then I'd say Rick will probably enjoy this. We're going to see spirits of another kind. Then we're going down to Bushmills, to the Bushmills distillery.
That's not a sour mash, is it?
I have no idea. I don't drink that stuff at all. Ugh.
I don't either, but I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, and actually the tour is quite interesting and it's quite good, the Bushmills tour, and then you get your tasting, you get your few little nibbles.
I'll take Rick's.
No, Rick will probably drink. Or do you drink, Rick? I don't even know if you drink.
I'm not allowed to drink. It's part of my parole.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I knew that.
Now, Kat, remember I was telling you about Carrowkeel,
Mhm.
the underground passage tomb in the northwest?
Yes.
This, sugar.
Pull it closer to you.
That is the underground passage tomb in Newgrange in
Oh my
the east.
goodness.
And you walk in there, and in the winter time, sugar. You've got the winter solstice. Where is it? You've got the winter solstice.
Hold it close to you.
You've got the winter solstice in there, and there's a long tunnel, and the light goes in and it lights up as in the summer solstice in Carrowkeel,
Yes.
but the light goes in and it lights up the 3 chambers in there.
My goodness.
Now that predates the pyramids by 500 years.
Holy whoa.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking about real. And then we are going, did you ever hear of Hell's Fire Club?
I have heard of that. I know somebody that had some great experience there.
Yeah.
That would be me.
Yes. Oh, you did, Rick. That's right. You told me.
Yes.
Actually, the cover of my
Tried to
first
kill
book
him.
is me standing inside Hellfire Club looking out the window.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So then,
Taken
to
by
tell you
Kyle
for the-
Stewart, which was a brilliant photograph.
Well, I have to tell you too that for the ghost hunters, Hellfire Club is very active, very, very active. I had a running conversation with an old relative of mine, which was amazing.
yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah, it's Hellfire Club. You know, for people that are ghost hunting, you've got a couple of the iconic ones on your list with Hellfire Club and Lep Castle.
And Charleville Castle, we're doing Charleville as well.
Yeah, so I mean, you can't ask for much more than that.
Yeah, because the next day we're spending a few hours letting people just do a little bit of exploring in Dublin, but then we're going down to Charleville and they'll do an evening, a night investigation in Charleville. And
Right.
Charleville is very active.
I love very active.
Yeah.
Just
Did you ever
saying.
see this place? This is
What's to you?
this is the Rock of Cashel. That
Okay.
dates back to 434 or something like that. And it is rich in history. St. Patrick actually was associated with that place. The High Kings used to get inaugurated there. And
nice.
actually St. Patrick was said to have, what's the word? I'm getting chemo fog now.
Banished.
No, it's the other thing. He
Coronated?
made a Christian out of Brian Boru. He converted him.
Oh, okay.
But that's an amazing place, and it has a round tower, and it has churches, and there's a graveyard around it as well. And the scenery is just stunning from it. But again, it is an active. There's still some locals. Actually, that during the British occupation, the locals in Cashel went up there for safety, and they went into the cathedral, the church. Oh, sugar, come on. And why does it do that, Kat? Why does it do that?
Because you're getting to where your shirt is green, so you need to hold it.
But anyhow, the locals went up and they went into the chapel for safety, and the British came along and burnt the chapel.
Oh my goodness.
Around them, yeah. So that's the Rock of Cashel, but it's an amazing place. And we're going to go to Cork Jail, which is very active.
Yes.
And then there's a guy, Damien Punch is his name, and he does a kind of a fun ghost tour around Cork. It's not a real serious thing. It's just a bit of a laugh, you know.
I like humor.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to have a little bit of humor.
You do.
And then,
what are you showing?
It's the causeway.
oh, that's the Giant's
Oh,
Causeway.
I can't see it.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, I can see it.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. And then day 6, we go down the Titanic Museum. Cove is in Cork.
Oh,
And Cove was the last spot, the last
yes.
stop of
Where
the
they
Titanic.
left.
Yes, where they left. And actually, the museum itself is in the actual building where people went to buy their tickets.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and it would have been the last. The remnants of the pier is just the other side of this building. You can see it from the side of the building. And you walk in and it brings you through the museum, and it really is very, very interesting. They give you a ticket that you would, let's say if you were on the Titanic, it's a replica of the ticket that you would have bought if you were going on the Titanic. And there's a name on it. and you're brought right through the museum, and there's holograms, and there's, you see what the rooms were like and the bedrooms were like and the whole works, and you have the captain talking to you, and you really think that you're on a ship. It really is interesting. But when you come out when you do your whole tour, then you can go in, and there's a wall with all the names. And I'm not quite sure now, I don't want to say something wrong, but you can check to see if the name on your ticket, if the person survived or not. And it's kind of sad because you're kind of hoping that they did,
Yeah.
you know.
Kind of get vested in that at that point.
Yeah, you do. At that stage, you kind of are. You're thinking, I wonder, did she survive? My woman was Margaret Kavanagh. Her name was Margaret Kavanagh, and she did not survive. And it actually, when I found her name, I thought, sugar, she didn't survive. And again, like that, there was a very sad story about the Titanic. There's a village in County Mayo, one of the counties beside where I come from, and I cannot remember the name of the village. But there was a young girl that left when she was only 15 years old. Years before the Titanic, she was brought over to America. It was a common thing at that time,
Right.
that young people would be brought over by an aunt, or a priest would organize it, that they'd be brought over and they'd get work at home, and they would help the people at home then. That was a common thing. So this girl was brought over to New York, and she was a housemaid, but she was taught how to do seamstress. She became a seamstress, and she got very, very good at being a seamstress. And she ended up opening her own business, and she got very wealthy. So she decided, so that she would give back, she decided to come home to the village, and she brought 7 young people with her on the Titanic, and they were all lost.
That's so sad.
It is sad, and it's only in the last maybe 5-6 years that the village have decided to commemorate. They wouldn't even talk about it before that. It was
Well,
such
that's a lot of young people to lose at one time for a small village.
Yeah. And when I say a small village, I really mean small little villages at home in Ireland. But it was an absolute tragedy, and for years and years and years and years, people wouldn't talk about it. And it's only in the last maybe 5-7 years that they've decided to get together.
Really?
And do a commemoration. Yeah.
That's been a long time.
I'm supposed to actually have had a relative who died on the Titanic.
Really?
Yeah, and he was very famous, very wealthy. And when it came his time, they had a space in the lifeboats, and him and his wife and his maid were there. And he said, no, not until all the ladies are in there. And they put his wife in, and they said, all right, we got to go. And she got out, and she says, if he's staying, I'm staying. And they put the maid in the boat. And they said this man when he died, had enough money in the bank to build 30 Titanics. And his name was John Jacob Astor. He was one of the richest people in the world.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was, but it was so cool that the wife said, no.
I'm staying with him.
I'm staying with him. There you go. It's amazing. But we're going to Spike Island then. Spike Island is Ireland's Alcatraz.
Oh.
Yeah, it's an island off Cove, and it was a fort, and it became a monastery, and then it became a prison, and it was a bad, bad prison. But it's very active. It's very.
We had some relatives in there too.
Oh my God!
Balance. All about balance.
There's a Dunbeg stone circle.
Well, that looks like Stonehenge.
Yeah, it is, but it's way smaller than Stonehenge. But would be the same kind of idea. Again, you've got the summer solstice, you've got the equinoxes, you've got the winter solstice, you've got the Druids' altar there, you've got the 2 large stones, and summer solstice, the light comes over the hill, and it shines in between the 2 largest stones, and it lands on the Druids' altar. But there was an excavation done in the middle of that. They must have been doing sacrifices because there was a boy's body,
Oh.
bones found there. And then we're going to go to Charlesford during that time as well. And the next day, we're going back up to Dublin again. Now we're going to stop in a beautiful medieval town called Kilkenny, and people can just
Oh,
it's gorgeous.
I'm so excited about that.
Yeah, there's a great castle there. You can go if you want to, but I mean, there's lovely little pebblestone streets and little alcoves, and it's just one of these beautiful places, and people love just going and exploring it, and give people plenty of time to just relax and explore. But then we're staying in oh God, mother, I'm going to keep cursing in Irish now. That's Fitzpatrick's Castle that we
Oh.
stay in the night before we leave.
Yes.
It's probably not that color now. They do change the color every couple of years. It was blue. It was a kind of a grey blue the last time I stayed in it, but it is. I think it's an 18th century castle. But the
Lovely.
staff are fantastic. There's a swimming pool in it. There's a spa treatment. It's active actually. It was very funny.
Okay.
We had a group have a dungeon bar, and and actually it's quite nice. But we had a group with us one time, and one of the girls had a spirit box, and there was a little girl in the company, and she kind of broke wind, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And the spirit box went, "Ooh, smelly!"
That's so funny.
I thought it was hilarious.
That is so hilarious. I love it.
I never knew spirits could smell.
Well, they said,
Apparently
"Ooh,
so.
smelly." Yeah. "Ooh, smelly," they said. But it was funny when Patty was with me, we were up the north, and we were doing Game of Thrones. So we visited Castle Ward. It's one of these places that was featured on the Game of Thrones. And I'd never been in this place before. Beautiful, beautiful. I don't know. I suppose it's a castle, but it'd be more like a big house, you know. So we walk into this room, and I was not aware that there was anyone else in the room. But there was one of the girls that was on the tour, and there was the bus driver. But I was not aware of that. I walked in with Patty, and I saw these vintage shoes. And I says, "Oh, the shoes," because they were vintage. And I spotted them, and I thought, "Oh, the shoes." And then I looked up and I looked at the room, and I thought, "Jesus, I know this room." I says, "I know this room. This room is very familiar to me." And I said, "Patty, if you look to your left," I says, "is there steps?" And she says, "Yeah, there is." And I says, "Well, there's a bedroom up there." So we went up. There was 4 steps, and we went up, and there was to the left. I said, once you go up those steps to the left, there's a bedroom. There was a door, but there was furniture in front of it. So anyway, when you went up these steps, you went into this small little room. And when we were there, it was like it was a washroom. But I said to her, it wasn't a washroom, it was a nursery. I know it was a nursery. This was a nursery. And as soon as I said that, my left leg, it was like something came along and rubbed me, and it was so cold.
Oh, wow.
And I said, "Oh my gosh, I'm getting cold." I said, "My left leg is getting so cold." She says, "There's a spirit there." So anyhow, we went out, and she had the group, and we did a circle, and she had her dowsing rods, and she was with the dowsing rods, and she said, "There's a female spirit," and the dowsing rods followed the female spirit, and it landed on me. And I'm thinking, "Oh God, no, I do not want to be the center of this now." It turns out that I was the senior governess in the house, and it made sense as soon as you know, as soon as Patty said it, it kind of made sense. But the spirit box that she had right beside her, it says, "Oh, the shoes." The exact same thing that I had said when I went into the house.
That's funny.
And it was funny because there was a girl, an English girl, Donna, was in the room before I walked in. And there was one of these top hats, and there was a notice, "Do not touch." And she had it in her head, on her head when I walked in, but I didn't see her. But she saw my face when I recognized the room. And she thought that I was annoyed at her for touching the hat. But I wasn't even aware that she was there. But it was.
Well, no, because you were freaking out.
Oh my God. And I mean, to say this is bad, but I would not have thought of a past life in an English house as an Irish woman,
Yeah.
But however, there you go.
See, I don't know if you know this or not, May, but both Kat and I have ghost hunted with Patty Negri several times.
Yeah.
She's fantastic.
She
Yeah,
is.
great. Sweetheart.
She's
Oh,
a sweet person. I like her.
She is one of the nicest people I've got to meet. She really is. And she's just such a genuine, honest, nice person. She really is. Yeah. I've great time for Patty. I think she's fantastic. I'm doing a tour. She's coming over in May. DS Renee is coming over in May. And the two tours are going to meet at the Hill of Ushnach. And the Hill of Ushnach is the dead centre of Ireland.
And they're going to fight.
No, I won't let them. You'd love that. You'd love to be in the middle of that.
We're such competitive. We're competitive ghost hunters.
There's a festival of fire, and it really is. It's amazing. It's the dead centre of Ireland, and it's where all the kings were inaugurated, along with the Hill of Tara. But it's during a Baltana. It's Baltana season, and it's the light, the darkness is going, and the light is coming in, and they built up this big massive fire in the middle of this field, and it's exactly the dead centre of Ireland.
Oh wow!
And you've got the galloping of the horses, and you have the drumming of the drums, and you have the queen of what's the English word for it? Singing. You have all these the parades, and then you have them all the people walking up, and they're dancing with their fire. And as soon as the sun goes down, they come along and they light the centre fire, and then you see the 7 hills around the Hill of Ushnach, one fire after another lights.
Oh my gosh!
And it really is. It's very tribal. It's amazing. It really is. It brings your roots right down to the ground. It really is. It's a fantastic. So I'm hoping that I'll be getting the two, Patty and Diet's tour, will be able to meet there and experience that together.
That would be amazing.
It is amazing. And I've had friends who have said to me so many times, "Have you been up at the Festival of Fire?" And I'd say, "No, I haven't." "Oh God, you have to go up. You have to go up." And of course, I will sometime. Yeah, I will. And I never did. But the last time I went up, I was, it was something. It really is something else. It really is.
I love stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And you have, they're all in their old medieval outfits, and they're dancing with their fire, and that's fantastic. Yeah.
I can only imagine. That would be beautiful.
And it's a very, very ancient ground as well. It's a very hallowed, holy ground as well. It's, it means an awful lot, this particular place, to Ireland as well. So it's special, really.
Wow, that is one of the coolest things that I did not know.
Yeah.
I love when I talk to you. I learn stuff every time.
Not that it's,
Well, it is. So why did you decide that you wanted to start doing these fairly unusual tours, really?
Well, I do every sort of a tour. I don't just do paranormal. I do, for instance, I have health and wellness.
Yes.
I have this woman, Mary Jane Brigger. She is a healer. She has a healing cottage in Salem, in Ohio. And she's one of my ambassadors. And she's coming over to Ireland in August during Lunasa. And she's going to a friend of mine who is a Druid. She's an actual Druid. This woman, Rachel, Dr. Rachel Sozak Brennan. Rachel is, she's a healer. She's a psychic medium. She teaches healing through sound, through herbs,
Sound healing. Yeah.
through, she has, she's a multi-instrumentalist. She's a multi-linguist. She's a songwriter. She's an amazing person, and she has so much knowledge about the earth and trees and the land. And Mary Jane is going to bring over 20 people only to that tour, and they're going to learn, they're going to have workshops in, sound, the not so much the Tibetan bowls, but bowls like that, and trees, and she's going to teach them so much. She is one of these people that teaches you how to find yourself. Yes. That's
That's
the
the barcode that you
that's
can scan.
for anyone who wants to come with Rick's tour. That's the QR code.
Raise it up, Rick.
Sign up.
Raise
yes.
it up. No, raise it up.
That's
There
it,
you go.
that's it.
Now people can scan it.
Yeah. Sign up for Rick's tour, because it's going to be a fantastic tour. But but how I got interested in how the paranormal happened, the whole thing is kind of like a fluke, Kat. Honestly, I came over here as an entertainer. I came over to marry my husband, and he's a guitar player, singer. And we traveled the country. I've traveled about 27 states performing at festivals and concert
Wow,
halls.
that's covering a lot of ground.
Yeah, I mean, when I think of it, my husband even said to me, I'd never have visited any of these places if you hadn't come over. But I would sing the real old traditional songs, and I would talk about the history of the songs, and I would talk about the area. And I'm a great person in believing in signs.
Mhm.
God kind of leads me one way or another. And people started coming up saying to me, did you ever think about putting a group together and bringing them over to Ireland and showing them all these places that you talk about? And when the same sentence is said to you 30 or 40 times, you think, okay, what do I do? All right,
Maybe
okay.
I should be paying attention.
Yeah, what do I do next? And when I said, what do I do next? Everything started falling into place. So anyhow, I started, I had no idea how to advertise. I knew Ireland, and I knew how to do it because people had been coming to me from all over Europe, because I would teach at all these summer schools, and people from Europe and America would come, and I would bring them on little trips, and I'd bring them and show them places just because they were there. Yes, good man, Rick. But so when I was here, I put up some things on Facebook, and this young guy, Eric, contacted me. He says, God, I would love to go over to Ireland. And I says, well, sure, look, if you have a group, why don't you put a group together and we can do it? And he says, well, I wouldn't, but I know somebody who would. And it was an actual psychic medium from Cincinnati. And he became my very first ambassador. And we had 3 very, very successful tours with him. So that's how the ambassador program came about. That happened in 2017. God bless Eric. So that happened in 2017. And then that's how that came about, the ambassador program. And of course, the fact of the matter is, Ireland, no matter where you go, as I said to you, you throw a stone in Ireland, you'll hit a ghost. Doesn't matter where you go, and Patty has been over, and there's so many people now that, next year is, I can't believe it, because I thought COVID nearly wiped me out first, and then I was just getting back on my feet again, and then the big C got me, but it didn't get me very good.
But it did not get you.
Nope. And I thought I was finished. I thought, this is it. I won't be. That's my business gone. But there's so many people like yourself and like Rick who want to work with me, and I'm honored. I'm actually very honored that I've made friends with everyone. Yes. It's like there's a big group of us now, and I feel God, I've got so many friends all over the country now. Like I have Michelle Roos and I have Patty and I have Rick, and I pop in and I say hello to people, and Rob Thompson and Dave Schrader and Chris, and there's and there's so many people that have come into my life now that I never would have thought. It's amazing. It really is. It's everything works out.
I was just going to say things work out the way they're supposed to every time.
They do, yeah.
And
Because
I mean,
I really thought that was it. Business gone. What am I going to do now? And it was actually Chris contacting me again, and the fact that he was kind of stuck, I thought, okay, I'll fix this up for him. And sure, if I'm able to do it, I'm able to do it. If I'm not, I'm not. And it just, once again, it's just picked up, and I'm going with the flow. I'm going to enjoy it.
that's the only thing to do.
Yeah. And we'll bring Rick over to Ireland and we'll get him a good Irish woman.
There's one in Ireland. There's one in Ireland. Her name's Siobhan, and she was a bartender in Scotland. And if you run across her, just grab her and hold her.
Okay, we'll do that. Have you got her second name?
No.
Oh, for the love of God, Rick, you have to get the full name and the phone number.
He's that way.
Oh,
He's that way. He was trying to let fate, bring them together, and he never asked.
You have to do a little bit.
He never asked.
I did go to ask, and there was
You did not ask before you left.
I went the. See, now she's not telling you the whole story. I went the last day before I was leaving, and I was going to say, hey, why don't we go walk through Princess Street Park, right?
Yeah.
Which is a real nice place. And I got there, and she worked every night, right? So I got there like 6:30. I waited all day, and I got over there, and this one waitress runs up, and she goes, oh, Siobhan just left. And I went, she works at night. She goes, not on Saturdays.
Oh, shit.
And I went, oh, and then she looks at me and with a little sad face, and she goes, but she did wait around quite a while.
Oh, no, Rick.
Yeah.
Broke my heart. And
no. Oh.
And he's been pining for her ever since.
And do you know the bar? Do you know the name of the bar that she works in?
No.
Tiles.
No,
Oh,
that's the one
name?
that's the one that she did work in.
Yeah, it's in Edinburgh. Tiles is where she used to work. So I'm sure by now she's probably married with 11 children. So.
Or maybe she's waiting.
Maybe she is. Or maybe
Yeah, I don't have much luck with women, just to be honest.
maybe somebody else's.
He's terrified that one will catch him.
Yes.
I am pretty slippery though.
Elusive. He acts like he wants one, but he doesn't really.
Yeah, he probably likes his little bit of freedom and his own space.
Oh, I'm too damn old to do anything.
And cantankerous.
What? Me?
Him not take a risk, Kat. He's a stuntman, for God's sake.
Hey, we just had our own tour to Scotland. That was a lot of fun.
It was done without a company.
Yeah. You see,
It was the Rick McCollum and Friends tour.
Yeah. And you can do it, and it's perfect, and it's great. And I was saying to Rick, because Rick is thinking, now I hope I'm not stepping on toes, but Rick is thinking about putting one together for next year.
Yeah.
And that would be great. And he would be a great, great person to go to Scotland. And I was saying to him, if there's anything I can do to help him put that together, I don't need to be part of it except to be in the background and help him do that. But I'd love to see, that happen for you, because you are passionate. I was just saying it to Kat before you came on, Rick. It means a lot when the person is passionate about the country that they're visiting, and you're passionate about Scotland, and you know it like the back of your hand, and you know all the venues, and you've been there so many times, and you would give so much value to the people that would go with you, because it's not like you're going to a place that you never went to before. And It would be, I mean, if anyone is thinking about going to Scotland, I would advise you contact Rick and go with him, even though I'm kind of doing myself in here, but I would rather see go with Rick than, and get the fantastic experience that they would get with him, as opposed to me, because I don't know Scotland. I would have to have low, you know,
Well, if you wanted to do one, I would help you, you know. So there.
and well, there you go. We could work it between the two of us.
It
Yeah.
would be an excellent one between the two of you.
Yeah, but you know, because he, like Rick, and you're passionate. It's not like I like Scotland or I love to visit. The
No,
man is
it's not.
passionate. The man is passionate about
He
Scotland.
is.
You know, so that means
Almost as much as he is about Tillamook. So that's saying something.
I do like my Tillamook mudslide ice cream.
oh, I haven't had that yet.
You're missing out.
You are missing out. But yeah, you know, the nice thing that happened on the Rick McCullum and his little group place is we got to get into some places. We were 3 places. We were the very first people that were ever invited to host on the air. And we got into some of the major places that you just don't get in.
Yeah.
Which was, I mean, like, and then we got to go to the places like, I asked everybody where they wanted to go. And I think I managed to get
most of the
pretty much every one of the ones that they asked.
No, it was every one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Because I wanted to go to Culloden, and we were certainly there.
We go to Bannockburn.
Did Bannockburn. Bannockburn was brilliant. It's so pretty.
Castle Menzies they wanted, so but we ended up getting them all. And then on top of that,
Castle Mingus.
And it's invaluable, you see, because most people wouldn't get to go to these places.
No. And, you know, Rick and his connections, you know, he knows just about everybody who is a paranormal investigator in all of Scotland.
And you know who's coming over in October to us? He's spending a couple of days with us. Ryan O'Neill.
Yes. He's brilliant.
Ryan's a great friend of mine. As a matter of fact, you know, he and Gregor were the founders of Scottish Paranormal.
Oh, wait, is that Ryan from the telly?
Ryan from the telly.
Indeed.
Yeah, Ryan is coming over.
Don't call him that.
I was talking to him. I wasn't talking to him. We were texting each other today. He's a good friend of Chris, and it was Chris that wanted him to come over because they did something. They did Spook to Ireland, or
they did Spook to Ireland, Spook to Scotland.
Yeah. So Ryan is coming over, and I think at some stage he'll probably be an ambassador.
Oh, he'd be a great ambassador for you. So would Gregor.
Gregor is a natural storyteller.
I think Gregor is coming over because there is somebody. Greg is coming over as well.
He's a brilliant historian.
Yeah. I think he's coming over as well.
And he's written 22 books.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so he's a pretty sharp dude.
Yeah,
with more coming.
Ryan got so upset because it became a running joke because he was on Haunted Scotland and all that. Yes. That everybody would come up and go, "Why, you're Ryan from the telly." Right? Yeah. So I went up there. I think you were there. We were in Balgony Castle, and I went up and I went, "Hey, aren't you Ryan from that?" He goes, "Hold it, you've done 75 movies. Shut up."
Yeah. I got him when we were at the dinner before we went to Balgony. I was like, "Oh, it's Ryan from the telly."
Yeah.
And he's like,
and you know, I'm very bad because I don't watch any. Very rarely do I watch TV, and
yes,
I have to admit to everyone, I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with your work, and I even said it to poor Dave Schritt. I said I had to say it to Chris Fleming as well because I just don't watch. I mean, I lived in a haunted house.
Yeah, you don't need to watch the shows.
And I was never kind of the shows, the TV side of it just didn't kind of interest me at all. You know, because I was thinking, yeah, that's kind of overdone, or you know.
Yeah, it's like I don't believe this. No.
Yeah, no, that's not the way it happens at all. Kind of.
I know, right?
Yeah, and
I don't watch very many of the shows, but I did because I had a Discovery Plus subscription. I was on my Roku and I was like, "Oh look, there's Haunted Scotland." Click.
Yeah.
Oh look, there's Ryan.
Although I do know somebody that was on Portals to Hell, though.
That's true. You do.
That would be the blonde girl over there.
Aha.
Yes, I was.
Who were you?
I was investigating a friend of mine's jail, and I had actually gone there to do a radio program to, do a live feed from there so that kind of to bring the jail into focus some. And I irritated the spirits.
Uh-huh.
And so all these steel doors or cast iron
Oh,
doors.
yes.
Yeah, they were banging. You could hear them
Oh,
banging. They
was
weren't
was
moving.
that
I
a
was
spirit
looking
or
at
was it,
them. They
or
didn't move.
was it a poltergeist or was it just a spirit? That
It
sounds
was spirits because they're prisoners.
Oh, yeah.
They're prisoners who stayed in that jail, and one of them was found hung.
Mm-hmm.
And where I set my equipment up was where he was found hung. And so, I mean, you could hear people stomping around me. You could hear the doors slamming.
Yeah.
They were messing with my electronics, which meant I was getting mad. So we had spirits that were mad, and we had me that was mad, and the energy was just building up, and you could hear the stomping. And my producer at the time was on the other end, and I mean, it was showing that my computer wasn't working, and he said, "I can hear you. I will let you know when it's time to get out of there."
Okay.
And so a few more minutes went by, and the banging got louder and ridiculous. And it was
Yeah.
on all the floors. It wasn't just in front of me.
Yeah.
And I got a message that said, "You need to pick up your computer and leave that area
Yes,
now."
now. Yeah.
So I did. And Shelly has the Huff portal,
Mm-hmm.
and she had it turned on. And I said, "You're going to have to start because I'm really mad." I'm really mad. And so she was like, "This is Kat, and she did this, and this is why she's here. She drove all the way here from Lexington because I've been at Scarefest. And then, she's going to be doing a live show to try to, help." And the guy says, "Really?" And I was like, "Yes, really? I'm not here for my help." And then I just went off.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, "Really?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yes, really? I have a 9 hour drive tomorrow. I'm not here for my help.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do a show to help."
Did any of the two of you ever get hurt or get attacked?
Mm-mm.
I have.
I haven't been hurt. I
Oh,
have
you told
had
me.
people
You
do
told
something.
me about outside Lep Castle, wasn't it, Rick?
Yes,
Yeah.
You
that
told
was
me that.
not good.
Yeah. Tell
Why
us
don't you
that
tell-
story.
Yeah, share that.
Well,
I didn't mean to be bossy.
no, as we pulled up to, as we're pulling into Lep Castle, we were about an hour ahead of where we were supposed to be, and they were actually having a party inside. So there's a long road out in front, and we just pulled over in the road. We didn't go in to try and park because it was pretty packed in there. And it was all guys, and they all got up, and we've been driving for a while. So they all went over to the bushes to visit, right?
Yeah.
It was cold and windy out. And I liked it because I grew up in Chicago, and it kind of reminded me. So I'm just standing out there. And he said, "Come on, get back to the car." I said, "No, man, I'm going to stand out here for a while and enjoy the fresh air, stretch my legs." And all of a sudden, they're all in the car. I felt, and I said at the time, it felt like a spear went through my eye and out the back of my head. I could feel it go, whoosh, and I grabbed my eye, and water started gushing out of it. And I thought my eye exploded. As long as I could make some sense, all the fluid and stuff coming out there, and I'm holding it. And I started staggering backwards. And I looked down at the ground, and I went, "Well, you've fallen down for a living for 40 years. Fall down now," right? So I started to go to the ground, and I heard a voice in my head say, "If you hit the ground, you'll never get up." So I threw it into reverse and did everything from hitting the ground, and I got back into the car. And I was hanging on to it, and one of the guys jumped out, and he came and he got me, he pulled me to the back of the car, and he got me some water. And I'm still holding my eye. And they get back in. I'm still outside. I said, "Leave me out in the cold. It'll make me feel better." I'm woozy, right? Felt like I got punched by Mike Tyson. I was like, ugh. So anyway, in the book, in my first book, I let other people say what happened.
Yeah.
Right?
And were people watching this, Rick? Were the guys around? Did they see this?
They were in the car ahead of me, so they were looking forward, but they were watching me through the mirror to see what was happening. And then when they didn't see me through the mirror, they jumped out. And the one guy says that I was hanging from the side of the car by one hand. He said I was white as a sheet, and you could tell that I wasn't breathing. He says, so they kind of helped me up, and I'm like, ugh. So they get me in the car, and we drive in, and we park in front, right at the very front. And they said, "All right, come on." I said, "Just leave me in the car. Just let me sit here and relax." I said, "I'll come in a little bit." So they go in, and while I'm in there, I'm just sitting there, and I look, and my vision starts going.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, this isn't good, right? And then it went, remember the iris, the old way they used to tell you the movie was over? It goes, my vision did that. And I thought, holy crap, I'm dying,
Yeah.
right? Because, and right then, from here down, all my energy. Now, you guys have been on airplanes. You know what it sounds like when you flush the toilet? Whoosh!
Yeah.
That's what my energy did. That it just went poof out of me. And I'm just like a piece of meat, just sitting there. And I mean, I've got nothing to me. So I just said to myself out loud, I just said, you know, because I was convinced this was it. I had a couple minutes left and that was it. And I just said, you know, I've got to do a lot of stuff I never thought I'd get to do. I got to see a lot of things I never thought I'd see. So today's my, you know, now's my time. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
And maybe within a minute, all my energy started coming back, right? And I opened my eye up because I still had my hand over my one eye, and I looked up and it was clearing up. And I was like, wow. And I started to feel a whole lot better. Well, the guys came and got me. I got out of the car. I sat around for about half an hour, and then I was fine.
And did the water stop? Did the eye clear up? Did the water stop coming out of your eye?
Yeah, the whole thing. It was just like nothing happened. But a couple weeks later, one of the guys, I can't remember which one of them, one of the guys from that was on the tour with us, wasn't a tour, it was our little thing. They were Scottish paranormal guys. And one of them called me up and says, you're not going to believe this. And I said, what's that? He goes, you know the other castle we stopped at? And I said, yeah. And he goes, well, there were two guys back there. They had a duel. One of them got shot through the right eye and died. So when I figured this, that he attached to me and just wanted me to know what happened to him.
Yeah.
And when I said, you know, if today's my day,
This is
and
it.
he went, no, that's not what I wanted, and backed away from me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all of a sudden I was fine. But yeah, that was,
He just needed somebody to know what had happened.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was by far well, I don't know, the tombstone sitting incident was pretty good.
Yeah.
When we were on our last time, Kat was with me. My knees were so sore, we'd walked 9 miles. And I needed to sit down. We were in a graveyard, and there's nowhere to sit.
Yeah.
So there was a tombstone that
This
looked
was
like
so
a bench.
funny.
Yeah, there was a tombstone looked like a bench, and I said, "Look, I mean no disrespect, but I'm going to fall over. I have to sit down, right?" So I sat down. I had a K2 meter in my hand, and there was a girl with us. And as soon as I sat down, I had got nothing for the 2 hours we were in there. Out of blip. I sit down, and it goes all 5 lights instantly, right? And I said, are you mad that I'm sitting on your tombstone? Bam, all 5 lights again.
Wow.
Right? I mean, instantly. And the girl was with me is like, whoa. And I said, I don't mean any disrespect. Can I just sit here for 30 seconds?
Yeah.
And it flickered like on 3. So I sat there for a little bit, and all of a sudden it goes 5 lights again. And I said,
In other words, get up.
I said, if you want me to leave, do it again. And it goes instantly 5 lights. I said, all right, I'm out.
I'm out.
I'm out. But I mean, I have never had interaction that was so punch you in the face. You know, just like, boom, here's what I want from you. Pow, pow, pow.
Yeah.
And
Oh, what you gone?
the girl was kind of shaken up a little bit. So,
Well,
and that's,
Yeah.
you know,
I suppose
that's probably what happened in Balgoni the day before, but I won't get into that. But
that was a good story as well. You told me
That's
that.
an amazing experience. I have never, to quote Mikey, bro, my REM pod don't do that.
Yeah.
yeah, the place that I was great friends. It's like you and Sean and left.
Yeah.
I was really great friends with the Laird of Balgoni,
Yeah.
who actually told me some very deep secrets that he didn't tell. Maybe Gregory might have told, but for some reason we just bonded. And then he was passing away, and we went back, and this was so cool. It was me and Kat and Lori, Mikey, Julie. You know, we're all in there, and we've got pretty much every piece of equipment that you can imagine.
And we had guests.
Yeah. And we sat down, and I was explaining who everybody was and what the equipment was. And we're in this place that I'd never been, really, the museum area, which is right next to where the Laird had his woodworking place. Right. And he was a master at all of these things. Amazing.
I need to interrupt you because we thought that that was not part of the original castle.
Right.
It was completely part of the original castle.
Yeah. That's-
And I don't know if you found that out, but that was where the walls were.
mhm.
That was the original footprint of the castle.
Uh-huh.
And we didn't know that.
But what was so strange is we sat down, and Kat was right next to there, two people over or something. Right behind was we had everything that could light up was there.
Yep.
And I just said, are there any spirits in here that want to talk to us? And it was like a damn explosion went off. Every piece of equipment went to the max. Boom. There were 3 K2 meters, and they all went 5 lights and locked. We couldn't get it to unlock, right? So I turned it off. I kept saying, go back so we can connect with you. But, no, step back.
The REM pod looked like the 4th of July.
Wow.
I'm
mean,
not exaggerating. I was
No
sitting
matter
there
where you
looking
look,
at
it
it.
was like stuff going off everywhere. And I'm sitting there, and I look over, and Kat's got that look on her face right there,
Yeah.
looking at me like, hey, stupid.
Well, everybody and their brother, the Laird had passed away shortly after we left the time before. And everybody knew that he was going to be there. If there was anything ever about what we do that is true, okay, if you can be doing it through intent,
Yeah.
it was going to happen that way.
Yeah.
And because the Laird was not going to have Rick in his castle and not communicate with him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but I was the last one to figure it out. I'm sitting there trying to figure all the equipment, how to get the K2 to
He
meter.
was.
Then I just went like this. We actually have it on video, and I go, oh, holy shit, it's the Laird. It took a while for me to catch on.
And meanwhile, all of us are sitting there like,
Yeah. Wow.
Tapping me on the head. How long is this going to take for you to get
hello.
down?
Yeah.
It was
It's-
one of the most beautiful. I mean, it was exciting from an investigator standpoint, but it was one of the most beautiful things from being his friend
Yes.
and knowing how close he was to
Yeah.
this man.
That
This
man
man
would come
showed
back
up
and-
for
yeah.
him.
Yeah. That
mean-
was special. Yeah.
It was so special.
That would be special.
So,
Absolutely. That was
I
special.
just-
Yeah.
I told Kat, because that was the day before what happened in the cemetery. I told Kat, I said, I'm thinking I might just give up ghost hunting. And she goes, no, you'll never do that. I said, yeah, but what am I going to get better than the 2 things that just happened? I
But
mean,
it doesn't,
What did I
but
say?
it doesn't kind of have to be better though, Rick. It just any experience is a good experience though, really, isn't it?
Because now we know it can.
yes,
yeah.
that's true.
Yeah.
We know what we're looking for.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
we weren't sure. We had never had an experience that extreme.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was filled with love and care and communication.
It was interesting. They have all these great places inside the Balgoni Castle, all these great rooms.
Oh,
And
fantastic.
I was kind of disappointed. They put us down in this little tiny room, and I was like, wow, we came all the way from America, and they're putting us in this tiny room. And one of the girls came down. They said, would you like to trade rooms with us? Because, we can. And I said, no, thank you. They told us to come down here. I'm so glad that I didn't change rooms, I'll tell you, because that was astounding.
Yeah.
We
Well,
would have gone wherever you were. but
Anybody
we
that's
were where we
listening-
needed to be.
We're going to get some of that same stuff in Ireland.
yeah.
Yes,
So
we
you
are.
join us, and we're going to,
Yeah.
because I will tell you 2 people that seem to be have a more of a connection with the spirit world, and it's that lady up there, and then amazingly handsome guy on the bottom.
There you go.
Well, it's just so interesting because spirits like him,
Hmm.
they really do.
Yeah.
That book that he wrote called Ghosts Believe in Me, it was real.
So, yeah. Yeah.
And so it's really fun. Although he took so long to realize it. Who do you think this is?
Yeah.
So,
I was trying to get the stuff to work.
well,
My
so was I
patron-
because my camera had like 6 or 7 shutdowns with a full battery that was
Yeah, I
full
heard
every
this.
time I turned it back on.
Yeah, this camera is here, and she'd go in, and Mikey'd hand her a brand new battery. She put it in, turn it off again. It was like, wow.
Yeah. Well, the battery was full.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, there was
they
no
got
reason for my
trained.
camera to be shutting down.
But yeah,
And so just so much energy.
Yeah, they might just not have liked the idea of the camera.
Oh, he didn't
You know,
care.
I mean,
He was not bashful.
the spirit.
It was just so much energy. I
Yeah.
think it was overwhelming things. But
it
I'm
was.
not kidding. That REM pod was astounding.
I mean, it's like an explosion of energy. Just everything went off. Just
Yeah.
what
And Spirit
what just
shuts my
happened?
stuff down a lot. So
What just happened? So that
some
was
of
that.
us knew.
Yeah.
So that was actually at that's one of the things that happened at Lep Castle.
Yeah.
You know, Hellfire Club was
Oh, yeah.
amazing.
Hellfire is very, very active, and Charleville Castle is very, very active.
So
That's
tell
what
people,
I said.
since we've got 4 minutes,
Well,
tell people what to do.
Can I give the website if anyone
Please.
wants to?
Please
So
do.
it's www.secretirelandtoursllc.com, and then just go on Spooky Tours, and you'll see Rick's tour and all the other tours. But come on Rick's tour,
Oh,
because
hi.
it'll be
Oh,
so
hi.
much. It'll be so much fun with Rick and Kat and all the
You're
gang.
too low. Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
To your right.
it's very hard when you're behind it, isn't it?
There you go. There it
young.
is. Secret
Secret Ireland
Tours,
Tours,
LLC.
LLC.com. And
And it's
join-
also on my event post too.
Yeah. And I actually do an installment plan for people. It just makes it a little bit easier for them. They can have it paid off way before the time,
Yes.
and they can just contact me and we can sort that out. But Rick is our ambassador, and it's going to be fantastic. And to get him over to Ireland, and we're going to have to organise a nice Irish woman for him.
By the way,
Just
for
find
people out
Siobhan.
there,
That's what he wants.
I suggest to the people that are thinking about this, because I have talked to quite a few people that are really interested, and they just wanted to wait a little longer, which is understandable. But you got this way of paying in installments, which makes it much easier for you, and it's going to be a great time.
It
Right.
It
is.
is, and you know something, even for anybody who wants to, who might be traveling alone, don't worry about traveling alone, because the minute you hit Dublin Airport, you're with the family, you're with the group,
Yes.
and nobody is ever on their own. And at the end of the day, life is short. I've learned that now. Life is short, so you just go and you enjoy yourself. You go with people who you're going to have a good time with, and you make memories, and you make great
And
memories.
it's a great way to make them. It's
It
also
is.
a great way to make friends, because once you travel with somebody, you always have that connection.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
I mean,
true.
as I said to you, Kat, the amount of people I've seen through the years now who have become very, very good friends
Yes.
through the tours that they've come on, and it's fantastic to watch it. It really is.
It is. And I can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm really so excited, because, you know, I knew what the problem was when we were there, which was that you weren't part of that anymore.
Yeah,
And when I messaged you, you called me.
yeah.
And, because we got to a place they'd never heard of us,
I know.
yet we were supposed to have already paid for that. And so I called you, and you were like, well, I don't have anything to do with that, but do this.
Yeah,
So thank you for that.
yeah. It's crazy. I don't understand that at all. I mean,
People are different.
yeah, I suppose,
There are people
or
that-
they just hadn't a clue, and they just,
Well, I think there were clues there. I think it was just a horrible human being.
yeah.
And as I learned going through my experience.
Well,
But
May I have to
we're-
say something? I think Kat can back me up on this real quick. That other tour, they were trying to make an aspersion pointing towards you.
I know.
And I actually walked to the back of the bus and I said, I happen to know for a fact that that's a lie.
I
And going back there and telling the people, I said, that did not happen.
I know.
Yeah.
Sure. I hadn't worked with that company for 2 years before that.
but we're done. So
Well, thank you so much, Kat and Rick.
I cannot tell you enough, May, how much I've enjoyed you. And I hope everyone listening did too. And you know what? prayers for Florida,
Oh, yes,
South
please.
Carolina, North Carolina. My daughter is in Charleston.
Yeah, please.
I'm just really
And
proud
can
of
I just
Florida.
put
I
out
love
there as
all of
well,
you.
can I ask for prayers for Chris Fleming as well?
Absolutely, Chris
he's
Fleming
doing-
always
he's-
has my prayers.
He's doing okay. He has a bit to go yet, but with all God's help, he'll see the other side of it, and he'll be strong. And because I told him he's got to come over in June and buy me a cup of coffee in Ireland.
There you go.
So he's on a promise now. He's promised me he'll do that. So
Well, you have to promise me something. When you see Ryan, you go, "Aren't you Ryan from the telly?"
I will.
See that? Oh my goodness. Thank you both so much.
Okay.
For everyone listening, thank you so much too. Be blessed. Same
Thank
cat time, same cat
Bye,
channel.
May
God bless, Rick. We'll talk to you.
and Kat.